Alright, let's see if this stream is up and working properly before I get started. So it looks like we're live. Let me just click on it, make sure it's working. So it looks like we're live. Yep, awesome. Alright, just give me a quick second. I'm going to share this link in the tier 2 chat and then we can get going. Okay, so welcome to round 3 of tier 2's GT7 championship in ALR. This is tier 2 and my name is Rostom. I'm a tier 3 driver but also one of the admins for the league. So just bear with me, I'm going to get the live chat back up in case people want to talk to me as well. So yeah, we have a very unique track here. It is really going to benefit the people who have cars with good top speed. And that might be reflected in what we look through in qualifying here. So we've got Den's Bad Robot in the Aston Martin Vantage. He is 16th, lining up last, and right next to him is the Dude in the M6. But it says that it's a Viper, but it's not. It's a BMW M6. Andy Winters is in P14, quite a bad qualifying for him in the Lexus. And then in the 2016 version of the AMG, we have Omorda, so he's outside the top 10 again. And then ahead of him is DB Elite, who won the feature race in Brazil on track. He is in P12 in the Ferrari, another car that doesn't have the best straight line speed. Then we got Joe Royal in P11, so normally he'd be much higher on the grid, but the Vantage probably is the worst in a straight line out of all the cars we have in our lineup. Krilla is in 11th in the Porsche, in that purple Porsche, so pretty good qualifying, getting into the top 10 for him. And then our championship leader, Gilles, is in 9th place, again in the 16 AMG, which, like I said, it's not the fastest, but maybe he would have been hoping for a little bit better than P9. In P8, we have the second Porsche 911. That is Capel, who's changed his name again on here to Easy Dubs, I guess. But yeah, he's called Capel. I'm going to call him Capel. Skinsy is in 7th in the other BMW M6, so had a much better time in qualifying compared to the Dude. And then we have Bomber, who also is a championship contender in the AMG 20, so pretty good qualifying for him because that's another car that doesn't do well in a straight line, that 2020 AMG. Then in a car that really performs well is the SLS, has great top speed, and deck paint is our first of these in P5. Just ahead of him is Filthy P4, definitely his best qualifying of the season so far. Corvette should be a contender here for sure for the victory. Then we got Turbo Boy in P3. In the other AMG, so again a great qualifying for him. Maybe they were bump drafting and qualifying or doing some sort of tactic to get a bit better top speed on the straights. Then we have the second SLS in P2, that's Slimmy, definitely his best result of the season in qualifying so far as well. And pole position for Simon, his second in 3 rounds. He only missed the second round, so he could have had a hat trick if he'd shown up to all of the races, but he gets pole position and he'll be hoping to restart his championship push with another win in this sprint race. So let's get started. Sprint race, 15 minutes, standing start, quite a long run down to turn 1, and the lights are off and we're going. It looks like Turbo Boy's actually got a pretty decent start. He's got a run on Simon around the inside as we head down to turn 1. It looks like 3 abreast. Simon just ahead at the moment, but he doesn't have the inside line into turn 1. He looks like he's getting pushed a little bit around by the AMG there, the SLS behind him, and it looks like Turbo Boy consolidates his lead and deck paint from P5 up to P2. A great start for him. He's pushed Simon down to 3rd, but Simon's got the inside line for the international, I think it's called the International Horseshoe. And it looks like Simon retakes P2 for now at least, with deck paint P3, Slimmy in P4, and Bomber in P5. So and Filthy down 2 positions into P6 as the SLS goes side by side into this really long, slow right-hander. It looks like the other SLS might try to follow him out, but Simon still is in P3 for now, whilst everyone's kind of jostling for position here. Everyone all the way down to Slimmy, who looks like he's just lost P4 to Bomber there. Looks like Capel's had a great start in P6 now. So let's see, we've got a big long run down to the bus stop chicane, overtaking incredibly difficult here without there being an incident. But it looks like, yeah, the Porsche's definitely got the run on the SLS here, and the SLS has a run on Bomber as well. So is he going to have a move? Looks like he's braking really late. Is he going to make it? Yeah, Bomber tucks in behind him. And it looks like everyone's going to get through the bus stop here. Well, Krilla has a 1.5 second penalty. That's going to put him right to the back. But yeah, everyone's still alive. DB Elite must have had a terrible first lap. He is down in 16th. But Turbo Boy's had a great one. He's in P1 at the moment. He's got a bit of a gap to Deck Paint, while Simon has Slimmy bearing down on him. So it'll be interesting to see if Slimmy can make a move into turn 1. Might be a bit difficult in the SLS to overtake the Corvette here, because the Corvette's just great in a straight line and is hogging the inside there. Slimmy goes around the outside. Looks like he loses a spot to Simon and to Capel there. And Simon had a really bad run there as well. So I wonder what happened to him, because he took the turn pretty well. So let's join on board and see what happened to Simon, because he got moved down a couple of positions there. So we've got Slimmy on the right. Looks like Slimmy's nudged a little bit off track, but Simon also braked too late. So both of them braking pretty late there, and he loses a lot of time, and that meant that both of them have managed to get past. And is he going to be able to navigate this corner? Looks like Slimmy took it a little bit wide, pushes Simon out, and now Gilles from absolutely nowhere is ahead of Slimmy and potentially having a run on Simon into this hairpin. Not the hairpin, we're at the corner before the hairpin. Really late move there from Slimmy. He's going to put it down the inside of Gilles. They are going side by side as well. We're going to stick with this little battle. And Gilles is just ahead for now. Is there going to be a really late braking move? No. And ahead, it looks like Deck Paint has a run on Turbo Boy here. So maybe Turbo Boy not taking the hairpin so well. And is Deck Paint going to be able to get a move done into the bus stop? He's got the inside line, which is definitely the line that you need for the bus stop chicane to get an overtake done. Is Turbo Boy is going to have to brake a bit earlier and tuck behind. He definitely lost that battle, and kind of battling into the corner would have probably ended up in the grass. But he's got a run on Deck Paint now. We've got a really long sweeping section of the oval part of the track. Is he going to do some bump drafting? It looks like he's doing a bit of bump drafting instead of going for the overtake around the bend. Slimmy is Deck Paint is hogging the inside line, making it very difficult for Turbo Boy to try a move, and he's gonna try and take a wider entry into turn 1, but that's a little bit too wide, and that's going to allow Deck Paint to kind of get a bit of gap behind him as we head through. Meanwhile, behind Simon is oh, what happened there? Turbo Boy and Deck Paint absolutely side by side into the corner. So let's have a look. Maybe Deck Paint made a bit of a mistake and went wide. He does. He left the door open a little bit, and Turbo Boy just decides to throw it down the inside, and it actually works, but they're still side by side now. Deck Paint's gonna nudge ahead. He's got a little bit of better acceleration at this speed, and it looks like he's going to keep P1 for now. And then behind, Capel is fending off Simon and Gilles, but Turbo Boy goes, Deck Paint again goes really wide, I should say, and that's really bunched the pack right up. So there's definitely going to be someone with a run down to the bus stop. So Turbo Boy looked a bit squirrely on the exit, lost a bit of traction. He is running without traction control on, and that is the most difficult corner without traction. So is this going to result in Capel getting P2? Let's have a look. They both don't want to give the other one the inside line here. And Turbo Boy just keeps ahead. This is pretty good news for Simon, because they're battling so close. He might have a run down here. And it looks like Capel must have Oh, what a shame. Capel definitely must have cut one of the corners at the bus stop, got himself a 1 second penalty, so he's going to drop out of this little battle. And you look, Simon's got so much more speed, 186 kilometers an hour. And Gilles set the fastest lap there at 45.9. I think there might be one or two quicker laps than that. So Turboboy going very defensive there, letting Simon get a little bit alongside, but it kind of compromises Simon's exit there. Deck Paint really not having a good time with this infield section. He seems to not be getting the corners spot on as he needs to, especially this one. Let's see how he takes it compared to Turbo Boy. Yeah, Turbo Boy can just close right up, but it's not really the best part of the track to close right up because you can't overtake it at this point, so you just end up getting held up by the slower car. Now it'll be interesting to see who got a better exit there, because they both took different lines. Deck Paint took a tighter line because he lost a bit of traction on the exit. Simon's going to have a move here. He's going to have a look. And he backs out of it. So it's as you were for now, with Gilles right on the back. So he's really exploiting the little bits of battling that's going on and getting right into the slipstream so that he doesn't lose pace with these cars, which are fair to say, a lot quicker at the top speed. Absolutely revving fifth gear. Interesting, so that must be what you have to do with the 2016 AMG. Just keep it revved for a lot longer. Now it looks like Simon's ahead anyway, and is he going to keep the position? He does seem to get braking spot on, as the other two braked a lot earlier, and Simon's reclaimed P2, and Gilles might have a run on Turbo Boy now. Oh, he goes a bit wide there, just avoids going onto the grass, allows Turbo Boy to cover the inside. And this is all great news for Deck Paint. Oh, Turbo Boy goes wide and spins it, and he's in the grass, so he's going to get overtaken by Capel, who's recovered to P4 now after his second penalty, and Turbo Boy is almost outside the top 10, around with Slimmy, who must have had a mistake somewhere to drop all the way down because he was in the top 5 earlier. And then we've got Dent, Skinsy, Omoda struggling in the Porsche, Bomber having an absolutely horrible race after leading the championship previously, and Andy Winters all the way at the back. So let's see any close gaps we've got as we're in the first part of the oval. So it looks like Joe Royal's got a bit of a run on Filthy. Joe having a pretty good race after only P9 in qualifying, but he'll struggle to reel in a Corvette. It actually looks like the Corvette's extending on him. Lovely camera view here. 3 wide. And it looks like it's as you were. No one managed to gain a position there, but that was some great driving from the three of them. Let's go on board with Denz, because he's got a good view. Actually, let's go a little bit further up. He's got Slimmy. He's going to come out worse here because he has to maybe take a wider line. Oh no, he stays ahead of DB Elite. And Turbo Boy all the way down in P9 after his mistake was having to defend from them. So instead of battling for the lead, he's battling for 2 points at the moment. The dude having a much better sprint race here, back in the top 10 is good to see. Not the best qualifying, so he's managed to improve a lot from his starting position. Krilla having a decent run in the top 10 as well. And Joe is still in the slipstream of Filthy, so he's managing to basically just use Filthy on the straights to pull him along so that he doesn't get caught. Maybe without there being a car in front, he'd get overtaken pretty quickly. The door was left open a little bit there by Filthy. Just a different line for the corner, but when you've got a car behind, it makes it a bit tempting for them to send it. Now this is probably Joe's best opportunity to get an overtake done into this braking zone. This car has better brakes and it corners much better, a lot more grippy than the Corvette. So as you can see there, how he closed in. But this track doesn't really call for that too often. It looks like Joe's made a really late move, a bit of a dive, absolutely desperate to get the overtake done, and he gets it done for now, with Krilla really close behind as well. So is Krilla going to challenge the Corvette, or is Filthy going to catch up before the bus stop? Yeah, he's just going to sweep past him. Actually, Joe's going to lose 2 positions because he overtook and he didn't have any slipstream. He was just sitting duck there, unfortunately. Real limitation of the Vantage. It is not good on a track like this. It might have been amazing at Brands Hatch, but it needs, you know, a completely different car is going to excel at this one, because that is the difference between a low speed and a high speed track. Looks like Joe's trying to bump draft Krilla back into the path of Filthy. And I don't think an overtake is going to get done just here. And this is all good news for the dude, because he's managing to stick with this battle now. So Krilla might have a little go at Filthy here. Backs out of it. Oof. Was really close to, well, there was a tiny bit of contact, but nothing too bad. As he goes all the way down to first gear for that corner. Interesting. So we are on lap 7, so we have a couple more laps. Oh, big mistake from Krilla, and that just allows Joe to sweep past, but is Krilla going to be able to get him back on the straights? If he gets this corner right, he's going to have a great run on Joe here. You can hear the BMWs. Kind of sounds like a pneumatic engine. No, Joe's got enough beans to fend him off for now. Let's see. Turbo Boy's just on his own now. He's managed to break away from DB Elite, but DB Elite's got. Oh no, he's challenging Slimmy here actually. But is he going to get a move done? I don't think so. So this is the battle for the very last point. Slimmy on a recovery drive here. He might be able to get Turbo Boy. Maybe he's a little bit too far back this lap. Slimmy's another one who's revving the top end so much, so he's going to have a look. He's going to have to be pushed out to the outside. Not really possible to get an overtake done on the outside, although he might have the switch back here because Turbo Boy goes very wide. Turbo Boy might come under pressure a little bit from DB Elite now. Skinsy's dropped down to 13th, so not having the best race, and now 14th. He must have had a mistake. Let's see. Let's go back. So Skinsy's in P12 here. He takes way too much speed and he nearly collects DB, but he goes wide to avoid him. That allows Dens to just sweep past, and Bomber as well. And then he's going to try and move around the outside, very ambitious there. And he gets muscled out again by Bomber, so now down to P14. So the whole grid is pretty close together here, I've got to say. Simon's closing in on deck paint as well. So the win definitely isn't guaranteed here. He needs to have a really good run out of the bus stop if he's going to attempt an overtake, but at the moment he's just a little bit too far back. Let's see, anyone else? They're all pretty close, but not close enough to get a move done. Yeah. So let's rejoin the battle for the lead, because this might start getting spicy soon as they go into the bus stop. Really good camera angle here. Oh, and he loses traction. That's going to allow deck paint to get away a little bit. But the top four really close together still. Let's go on board and see if we can see the gap closing. He's definitely closing, but is it going to be enough before turn 1? Deck paint protecting the inside, of course. Is deck paint going to go a bit wide? No, he manages to hug the apex on the exit there and keep P1. And Gilles comfortably in P3 ahead of Cabale. Really important for Gilles because Capel looks like he's going to be a championship contender as well. Consistently good results, lots of podiums. And he could potentially get another podium here. This is the final lap, lap 9. Everyone's going to finish on the final lap as well, which is good to see. Really good exit there from Capel. He's going to have a run on Gilles now. This guy's miles ahead of Filthy in P5. Now they're both jostling for the inside, but looks like Capel's managed to get it. He's getting squeezed into the entry. They both brake fairly early to make sure that they make the corner. And Capel takes the corner beautifully there, but Gilles is going to have a run on him now, but he's going to have to try and do it around the outside, which I don't think is going to work. Traveling a longer distance around the bend doesn't help, but now he's doing it again. You have to try and get the inside here to have any sort of chance. As Deck Paint crossed line P1, Simon P2, Capel P3, Gilles P4. Filthy away back in P5, best result of the season for him. Joe 6th, Krilla 7th, the Dude is in 8th, Slimmy 9th, DB Elite in P10 with the last point ahead of Turbo Boy and Bomber, who will both be very disappointed they didn't do better. Andy Winters, who had a bit of a bad opening lap or two, and then we had Skinsy, Dens down in P15. He was in the top, he was I think 12th previously, and I think that was O'Morda in last place in the Porsche, so he'll be starting on reverse grid pole. A pretty good and really close race here, but let's find the feature. There we go. So a good first result from our championship leader, and he maintained his championship lead after that because Deck Paint and Simon, who finished ahead of him, weren't close to being in championship contention at the moment, but those points will help a lot, and everyone behind him finished behind him, so he's extended his lead. Might have a much more difficult time trying to overtake cars starting pretty low down though. Now there was something I've been told I need to check in the opening laps, so let me just have a quick look. At the helper chat. Let me pause this for a second. So lap 2 and lap 3, okay, awesome. So let's have a quick look through the entire grid to see if anyone is on softs. All mediums so far. Every single person is doing a medium to soft stint. Okay, interesting, because this is the one track, because you can use a full tank basically on the soft tires because they wear so little, that you can do the soft and medium and it would be an identical time. But yeah, let's get this race started. Let's see how everyone does in these opening laps. I think there's going to be a little bit of carnage. So O'Morda starting us off in the AMG 2016. I keep saying he's in the Porsche, he's actually not. Dens is in P2. He's going to try and close the gap in the opening infield section where he's going to have a lot more grip. Skinsy in P3, Andy P4, Turbo Boy in P5, already ahead of Bomber. As everyone gets around the opening bend in one piece. It looks like Skinsy's challenging Andy Winters there. Andy's going to hold it on the outside. Oh, Andy loses it. Skinsy loses it, I should say. Oh man, what a way to blow a really good starting position. He's all the way down in 16th. O'Morda coming under pressure from Dens as we go into the last couple of corners before we go back onto the oval. So good start for Turbo Boy up to P4. Looks like the dude's worked his way up into the top 8 as well, as has Joe Royal. So let's see, anyone close enough to have a little look. Slimmy is under pressure from Joe Royal, and Joe is going to be under pressure from the dudes. This could get a bit spicy. Is anyone going to try something? So Joe around the outside isn't going to work, and Slimmy keeps his position. The dude probably had to lift a lot there to avoid hitting Joe, who came a little bit back into his path. But a bit further up, it looks like Denz is under pressure from Andy Winters. Now is Andy going to be able to have a look into turn 1 to get P2? Well, he's going to have a look down the inside. No, he's just not up alongside enough for anything to work there. Oh no, he is going to have a look. The door was opened. And he overshoots massively, and he's going to drop down. Actually, he keeps it on the track though. And what's going to happen between Turbo Boy and Andy? Ooh, looks like Andy tucks up into P4 behind Turbo Boy. And then Andy clatters Turbo Boy, makes him lose a couple of positions there, which is in the steward's room actually. Let's have a look at DB Elite. Something's happened to him. So let's ride on board. He is coming under pressure from Capel as we're going to start lap 2. Now what's going to happen to him? He brakes really late here. He goes a bit wide, just a little bit. But Capel went wide as well, so he didn't... Oh, and he just got murdered by Capel. Wow. Okay, let's go back again. Let's go on to Capel's point of view and see what happened. So they both go very wide here. Now Capel has to move along, but he doesn't, and that results in an incident. That's unfortunate. Let's go back to the front because Bomber and Turbo Boy were very close together coming out of this corner. It's like he's just got the position, has Bomber. And he's going to go really wide, which is going to allow Turbo Boy to close up massively before we re-enter the oval. Ooh, looks like Turbo Boy actually lost a bit of traction there. He might come under pressure from Joe now. No, he won't, because Joe's under pressure himself from Slimmy, who's got the really rapid SLS in a straight line, so he might be able to get fully ahead of Joe. Joe's got the slipstream of Turbo Boy though, and he's closing the gap, so he's using that slipstream really well. And it's actually allowed him to keep that position for now. Oh, a little bit of side-by-side action there going on between, I think it was the dude and Krilla. And Filthy's just behind the dude now. He's got a 1 second penalty, so he's going to drop right back. Yep, he's going to drop behind. And now Filthy's got a run on Krilla around the outside with the overspeed of getting that double slipstream for a little while. That was great. Great bit of overtaking there from Filthy. Let's see what's going on near the front. Andy's on the grass. Let's see what's happened to Andy. Is he going to manage to keep it on the track though? He managed to get past Denz previously. Then he goes really... Well, he takes a lot of speed. He probably just goes on the acceleration a bit too early here. And now you're going to see him on the grass there. He manages to get back on track though and keep P2 for now. Going to come under pressure here from Denz. And he gets the second penalty for going off track, I think that is. And he goes wide again. So a bit of a messy lap for Andy, but he's still not too far away from Omoda, but he's going to lose some positions here. And he goes wide again, and he keeps P2. And he's going to, he gets a bit nudged out of the way there by Denz. Now he's on the grass, and it's Andy's got another half-second penalty again for going off track. He gets a bit bump drafted there from Krilla in P9. And he goes really late braking there. Some interesting driving so far from Andy. I think he's a bit flustered. and now he'll drop outside the top 10. But behind him, we've got Gilles already in the top 10, challenging Krilla now, and he's got the inside line. Here he is in the white car. Looks like he's got a bit more beans as well. Is he going to get the slipstream from the car in front? Well, he's going to get the move done. And now the two Porsches behind him are lined up right next to each other. So let's have a look at Andy. He won the feature race on track in Brands, but it might not be in contention for this one. He's going to drop right outside the top 10 here. Here we go, Gilles, Krilla, Simon now, the dude, deck paint, and Capel as well. Well, something happened to Capel, he was down. And something happened to Denz as well, he's down in P16. So we got Omoda, Slimmy, and Bomber in the top 3. It looks like Turbo Boy tried a cheeky move on Joe, but it didn't work. As a little bit further back, there was a bit of contact coming out of that corner as well. Looked like one of the purple cars getting nudged. So Turbo Boy really doesn't want to stay behind Joe, and he's kind of bullied his way through there. It takes P4 off Joe. Now Joe's coming under pressure a little bit from Filthy. He's trying to get into the top 5. So Filthy's made some good progress already in this race. And now let's join him on board and let's see. Joe's got some slipstream from Turbo Boy, so that's going to help Joe out and maybe keep him ahead of Filthy, at least until after the bus stop. Is he going to have a look? I don't think he's close enough. No, he backs out of it last minute, does Filthy, and he keeps P6 for now. Everyone so close together still though. Omoda's not been able to break away at all. That'll be because every single driver's on the mediums as well, so we've just got one long snake going around this oval section. Let's join Gilles. He's really got a run on Filthy, which is unusual, but he must have taken the bus stop much better. (185 kilometers an hour). Oh, they all came together at the wrong time for Filthy. He had to take the outside line and loses a position to Gilles. Oh, really bad. Oh, what happened to Omoda? Our race leader. So, he gets overtaken by Slimmy here. At some point. Well, he goes very, very wide into someone. Hits the barriers. Nightmare. And now he's on the grass as well. He doesn't rejoin cleanly. Everyone has to kind of maneuver themselves around him because he's going so much slower, and he's got damage. So he's probably going to lose some more positions here. So P1 to P8 in the space of one corner, one disastrous corner, and he's still got the damage. So Simon might get past him now as well. 3 positions for everybody else. Yep, Simon dives down the inside. And the damage is now gone. So he'll be able to get back up to speed, but he's got a lot of work to do from P9. Especially with deck paint right behind him in a very quick SLS. Now deck paint's got the inside line here around the oval, and he's going to get the position fairly easily, I reckon. Looks like he's got the slipstream of Simon as well for now, and he's fully in front. Also 4/10 quicker than the fastest lap so far. Fastest lap is only a 46.8, that's incredibly slow. I guess they're all battling so much though, and they're on medium tyres actually, so it's not that bad. But yeah, deck paint is no longer setting the fast lap because you have to get that overtake done. Let's see, anything happening a little bit further forward. Gilles, Joe and Turbo Boy incredibly close as we head into turn 1 for the 5th time. Gilles gets the fastest lap, 76.7, 46.7, 76. Everyone takes turn 1 pretty cleanly though. Oh, someone was really wide there. That was Omorda. He went wide again at turn 1 for the second time in a row, and he's down at 13th now. Very unlucky for Omorda. Not having the best time of it this season in Tier 2 after winning Tier 5 last season. So let's rejoin Slimmy, who's inherited the race lead in the SLS, so he's got a really good chance of getting a very strong result here. Could potentially win, because no one... if he puts his car in the right parts of the track, no one else on track will be able to overtake him. He's got the best straight line speed out of all of these cars, slightly ahead of the Corvette, and definitely a lot faster than this AMG behind him, who's basically benefiting massively so far from Slipstream to keep pace at the top. Especially because it takes corners so well. Very grippy, that car. But let's join Joe, because he's getting a bit feisty with Turbo Boy. They've been really at each other's throats all race. Yeah, looks like Joe's having to go around the outside, which isn't going to work as long as Turbo Boy brakes at the right time. Ooh, really tight into turn 1. Looks like Joe's gone a little bit wide there. Tucks up behind Turbo Boy. They're all still very close together, this top maybe 10. All within a few seconds of each other. Joe loses a lot of traction coming out of the hairpin there, or the horseshoe if you want to be American about it. Turbo Boy might have a run on Bomber here. Both in Mercedes, both teammates as well, so they'll want to be working together. There might be a bit of bump drafting going on, which would be really good for both of them, actually. Yeah, they've got a bit of distance between themselves and Joe behind. Yeah, bit of bump drafting there. Bit close to the braking zone to be bump drafting. Now he's going to probably bump draft him again. So this could potentially bring them very, very close to Slimmy. If there's more opportunities for bump drafting, absolutely there is. But it's still not enough to fully reel Slimmy in, because that top speed is saving Slimmy a lot right now. Now it looks like Joe went wide again into turn 1, but he still keeps P5. Everyone behind is very close together. Filthy Jill Joe, in Krilla having a look on Filthy there, doesn't get away with it, and Simon's now really close behind as well. Our pole sitter. Lots of teams sporting new liveries, one-off liveries for Daytona, including the Corvettes, in every tier actually, rocking this livery that Perry made for us. Deck paint really struggling to pick through the pack as well. It's still only in P9 after 8 laps. It looks like a lot of, well, these drivers must have had some sort of incident, because they're all outside the top 10. The dude was in P8, Capel was pretty high, Andy obviously we saw, no Morda, he had a lot of issues that we saw. Skinsy, I'm not sure what happened, same with Denz, but Denz has actually left tier 2, he didn't want to race anymore, which is a shame because he had some pretty good results so far. Difficult when you're racing on a track like this though, with a car that has bad top speed. So Joe's lost a bit of pace, but Gilles and Slimmy are actually... Okay, something happened to Slimmy. Let's see what happened to Slimmy. So he goes wide and loses P1 and P2 pretty easily there. And then Joe also gets passed, and now he's down to P4. So, not... Oh, and then he had... Well... Bit naughty that from Gio, putting his nose there and sweeping past. That's kind of a push to pass, in my opinion. Shouldn't be done. And he gets P4 from Slimmy, or will he? Because Slimmy might have a chance of getting past with his superior straight line speed. He is. He's going to get a full car length ahead as well. So at least he recovered from Gilles there. Going really wide though, just opened the door for Gilles, and Gilles just took it, so didn't take the bus stop well at all there, Slimmy. Wonder if he'll get a penalty as well. Sometimes when you take it badly, it is accompanied with a penalty because you're having to take a crazy line to keep yourself on track. Slimmy's going to probably retake P4 here though, just watch. Even if he has to go around the outside here, it's turn 1. He's probably got enough time to do it. It's going to be who brakes later. Actually, Gilles just given up there. Slimmy protects the inside there under braking. And we've got an AMG 1-2 at the moment here, which is great news for their constructors' hopes, especially for Bomber, who didn't have the best sprint race. I think he's a bit higher than Turbo Boy in the championship. I'm not sure. I think so. Oh, Slimmy goes wide again, and that's going to open the door again for Gilles. Looks like Filthy's got himself a little penalty there as well. So Slimmy keeps the position for now, and if he could take this last hairpin, if he can nail it, then he's going to have a good run and will be able to stay ahead of Gilles, but everyone else is so close behind. Deck Paint worked his way up to P7, so he's managed to get past Simon at some point. Let's see, this might have been a lap or two ago, but I want to see how Deck Paint gets past Simon. Whoa, looks like they're side by side for a little while. So Simon's stuck behind Krilla here as we go onto the oval. He takes a much wider line, so he must have missed his braking a little bit. That allows Deck Paint to sweep down the inside as we head to the bus stop. It's going to be a drag race between the Corvette and the SLS. But Deck Paint has that important inside line. But Simon might benefit from slipstream. So it looks like Simon's slightly winning, but again, Deck Paint's got, yeah, and Simon braked a bit earlier to make the corner, which you have to, and that's just allowed Deck Paint to sweep through. Now, are they going to go side by side again? No, I mean, he's definitely closing in as Simon, but he'll have to duck into the inside at the right time if he's going to get a move done. Well, they're now really close to the Porsche there of Krilla. And are they both going to get Krilla? They could. Oof, that's harsh. Krilla loses 2 positions because he basically got ambushed by the 2 drivers that finished in the top 2 of the last race. So let's go back forward a little bit. I think we can go forward a couple of seconds. So yeah, we saw Slimmy and Gilles really close together. And Filthy's about to serve his penalty there as well. So Gilles might have a bit of a run. Slimmy's already protecting the inside. Now, they are a little bit side by side there, so both of their lines will be compromised. So it's going to be who has the better exit here. It looks like a very similar exit for both of them. That's a bit further back. Looks like Deck Paint's going to get Filthy, and Krilla's got a run on Simon a little bit further back. And will they all be able to catch Filthy? Because Filthy's penalty was only like half a second. Bomber's already in the pits on lap 9, so he's going to do 9 laps and then 13 on the soft, which is doable. That is a full tank, basically. So he's going to try and get the undercut on everyone. So Krilla didn't manage to get past. Oh, gives him a little nudge, and it looks like he actually loses out in the end, so no harm done there. So Simon and Filthy dropped behind them all, but managed to get past Krilla. And then there's a big gap to Capel in P9, Andy P10, Omorder. And then we've got Bomber and the Dude and Skinsy all trying the exact same strategy. They're all still... So they're all going to drop all the way to the back because the pit lanes are really long. So let's see. The battle for the lead is between Turbo, Joe, Deck Paint, Slimmy, and Deck Paint. But Joe is really close to Turbo Boy right now. As I said previously, they've been at each other's throats all race. Now it's going to be another drag race down to the bus stop. Neither of them are going to have slipstream as well, which might be good news for Slimmy if he can close in. He's not far behind at all. So Joe's definitely in front, which allowed Turbo Boy to get into the slip just for a moment, but now he's on the compromised line. Joe brakes a little bit later. Are they both going to make it? They both do, and they hit the apex. So great bit of driving from both of them. Joe takes the exit of the bus stop better, so he's got a little bit of breathing space, but I wonder if they're going to come into the pits this lap, because battling like this is costing them time. Turbo Boy's going to try and move around, so he doesn't look like he's pitting this time. No, he does, but Joe carries on. And now, let's see, Deck Paint is under pressure from Gilles, or he might have overtaken him actually. Now the two SLSs are going a bit longer than everyone else, and they're in second and third, as is Joe. So it's going to be a question of, are these guys going to fight each other, or what's happening further back? Well, they actually still haven't finished the lap yet, and these guys, well, they're only just coming into the boxes now. So we'll join them in a little bit and keep up with this battle right at the front. So Joe going the fastest that he's been so far this race. Takes a really wide entrance to that line, which allows Slimmy and Deck Paint both to close up. This might give Slimmy an opportunity to challenge Joe, but actually he's a little bit far back. So the two SLSs are going to be maybe doing a bit of bump drafting here. Yep, there it is. No, they're actually going to battle each other at the bus stop. This is going to end badly, I could tell. We need the team principal on the phone. So Slimmy keeps the position. Actually, they managed to negotiate it pretty well, but it's allowed Gilles to close right up, and now, and one of them gets a penalty as well, so both of them get penalties. So yeah, the team principal will be on the radio right now screaming at them. They're both going to lose out to Gilles, and probably Simon behind will get a couple of free positions here. He is quite far back, but let's see. None of them are going into the pits, they're all carrying on again. Not Capel, Capel's coming in, and Bomber is our lead driver of all the drivers who've pitted. He is a fair bit ahead of Turbo Boy, who did come in later, so that's the power of the undercut. You can see on the minimap there, the two of them. They're quite a way ahead of Andy Winters, who's just a little bit ahead of the dude, already going faster, and Omorda's had a bit of a nightmare there lap, or is that his out lap probably? So yeah, some interesting, and Den's all the way at the back there. He's gonna rage quit soon. Now Gilles pretty close to Joe, so Gilles got absolutely amazing pace here, even though he's lapping in the 47s on these mediums. He seems to be keeping pace with all of these quick cars around him. Deck Paint and Slimmy battling again, but now it's for P4 and P5. Is there actually going to be another battle down into the bus stop from the teammates? Not much teamwork going on. Not this time. So let's rejoin Joe at the front. Let's see if they're going to finally come into the pits. I have a feeling they'll get undercut by Bomber, because he did come into the pits on lap 9 and we're at the end of lap 12 now. He doesn't, but Gilles does come into the pits, so it'll be great to see where him and Simon, everyone's into the pits now actually. So we're going to ride on board with Bomber and see what happens when these guys end up coming out of the pits. Such a long pit lane that, even though we're on the complete opposite side of the track right now, I do expect Bomber to take P2 at the end of turn 1. I wonder if this will be the fastest lap as well. It needs to be if he's going to challenge for the race win here. It's not. It's only a 47 flat, which the other guys were in the 47s. So I can't see anyone coming out of the pits yet. So that's going to be a comfortable P2 for Bomber, comfortable P3. Not so comfortable because Slimmy and Simon are coming out, but he's got the pace and he's going to get past them. Slimmy and Simon battling into the corner. Slimmy looks like he's still just ahead of Simon, but he goes a bit wide on exit, and Simon's got a perfect run on him. He's up alongside, but it's a bit too twisty to get a move done here, and they might both try and challenge Turbo Boy here. No, not quite. And then Gio out in P4, so he's lost out by staying out and only pitting now. Maybe he had to put a bit more fuel in. He's gone absolutely full, whereas the other guys haven't. So he's a bit more thirsty on the car, or he just refueled fully by accident. But yeah, there's some gaps forming now, and Gilles might struggle because he's not got any slipstream anymore. We've got Filthy and Deck Paint really close together as well. And Joe's finally in the pit, so it'll be great to see where he comes out. Well, what happened to Kriller? Because he just suddenly lost a lot of his speed. Oh, he loses a bit of, it's like he lifted slightly by mistake on his wheels. And then he loses 2 positions as a result. Ooh, and he takes the bus stop really slow there. That's going to open the door for Andy, who's managed to work his way up to P10. So great bit of recovery from Andy after some chaotic opening laps for him. You can see Filthy just ahead is about to get an overtake done. So Deck Paint did get past him, but he's got an opportunity to retake it. And he's on the outside, it's not going to work like that. Let's see where Joe's coming out. So he's come out in P2. That's an amazing couple of laps there for Joe then, with everyone else maybe battling each other because they all came into the pits at the same time. So it worked out much better for Joe than it did the guys that came in a lap earlier. Turbo Boy's also lost out to Slimmy somewhere, so probably down the back straight. So Slimmy's up to P3. He's doing a lot better than Deck Paint despite them both being side by side going into the pits. Perhaps Slimmy underfueled, I'm not sure. Or maybe Deck Paint overfueled. Let's see. No? But... well, yeah, Slimmy does have less fuel. Slimmy's also purple. Turbo Boy with the fastest lap, but we'll have to do something special here to get it since Slimmy's purple. And he might struggle to get an overtake done. Be interesting to see if this Mercedes can close in on the straights when they've got slipstream. Ooh, he brakes much later and has to brake harder as a result. But still gets a really good exit. He's going to have a run on Slimmy here. Bump draft. So I think I've noticed a tactic. When they're going around the bend, it's not beneficial to go the long way around the outside. So a lot of these drivers are kind of bump drafting around the bend to try and get the move done right here as we go into turn 1, if it ends up being possible. Also, it closes the gap to the cars in front as well because you're both going faster. Obviously, the car in front's getting a bump and then you get sucked straight back into it with the slipstream if you're the car behind. Lovely exit there from Turbo Boy. A lot more traction than Slimmy, who maybe took a bit too much speed into the corner, maybe by like 1 or 2 miles an hour, making the car a lot more slidey around the corner. I have to say, this is a great performance from Joe in P2 in that car and on this track. It's not easy to be within a few seconds of the race lead, as we saw with his teammate, who has a good pace, but just not round here. The other thing is, if you lose slipstream, then you're a sitting duck, and it's really difficult to catch up to the pack unless there's an incident. Doesn't look like any... Oh, deck paint's a long way behind Simon now, so he's had a mistake somewhere. So he's not having the best time in race 2, our race 1 winner. Gilles down in P7 as well, not the best pit sequence for him, lost a few positions there. Filthy at P8 will be hoping to pick off a couple more people before the end of the race. Krilla and Andy still in the top 10 as well, but Capel is closing the gap now. And the dude, oh, but he's got a 2-second penalty. 2 seconds is costs you a lot more than 2 seconds, by the way. Because it's 2 seconds, well, off throttle on the brake as well. So you've got, on this kind of track, it's going to cost you maybe 6 seconds, maybe more. He's already lost 3.5 seconds of his previous lap. I like that colour blue on the livery. So let's see what's happening a bit further forward, because there's plenty of action. The Lexus was pretty decent around this track in other tiers. So Andy could have been doing a lot better if he hadn't made those mistakes. Lexus used to be a car that had no top speed, but since the physics update, that's all changed. It's just a good all-round car, to be honest, with a great tank. So Filthy in the Corvette might have a run here on Gilles. I wonder if he had a mistake. I thought he was a bit... Oh no, he wasn't higher up because he made the pit stop. Pit stop blunder! Right, let's see. Filthy's got a good run, he's closing the gap. Maybe not at the bus stop, but after the bus stop. No, he backs out of it. Not quite, not this time. Gilles is actually a lot closer to deck paint. Him flashing him. Andy's got the run. He's gonna bump draft him though, instead of try and overtake. Well, they have to kind of work together if they're gonna catch the pack in front, who are a fair bit ahead now. Although you can start seeing them now in the just ahead. So if they do this for a couple more laps, they might actually catch the top 5 here. So Simon has lost a bit of ground to Turbo Boy and Joe. Turbo and Joe really close still, just like they have been all race. So really a lot of very similar pace. Maybe this is the new rivalry I'm going to ship, because I don't know if they've battled in the other rounds, but this is relentless. They just can't get away from each other on track. I'm going to ignore what I just read in the chat about the Viper. Whoa, really squirrely on the exit there from Turbo Boy, but Simon's quite a bit behind. Now is Gilles and Deck Paint going to do the slipstream game again? They might not be able to, because Gilles is quite far back. Although this could be perfect timing to get a move into turn 1 if he does. But the problem is, if you're in a car like what Gilles has, and you're against a car like Deck Paint's, you're better off staying in the slipstream, because once you get ahead, they'll just get past you again, and then you both lose time just doing 2 overtakes. But if you're the faster car, it is much more worthwhile being the car in front. So, no moves yet. Filthy is still pretty close behind as well. So I have a feeling deck paint maybe doesn't have the best pace. Let's see what's going on a bit further forward. Turbo Boy and Joe still close together. Joe takes much wider lines through some of these corners than the other drivers. I don't know if that's on purpose or it's because he's under so much pressure. I can't make my mind up on that one. But it seems to be working for him so far. Still in a podium position. Turbo Boy loses lots of traction once again. So that's not going to be an attempt anytime soon at an overtake. Deck Paint had a better infield section. He's pulled a bit of a gap on Gilles. Filthy might have a run on Gilles here as well, because the slipstream effect's not going to be so strong for the car in front. Filthy setting the fastest lap so far. Ooh, not the greatest entry for Gilles, and this might open the door for Filthy. So this lap's going to be in the 45s for Filthy, quite a strong lap. He could get the fastest lap here. He's got some great slipstream, giving him even more speed. Down the home straight, a little bit of a flash, and a bump draft. And it still ends up being his fastest lap despite the bump draft. He goes wide into turn 1. Ah, that's a shame. And what's happening here? Whoa, okay. Whoa, okay, so we've got the two Porsches. Are they gonna mess each other's races up now? Capel dives down the inside. He hits the invisible wall, and then he gets poleaxed by Andy Winters. Oh dear. Right, let's go back and watch it from Andy's point of view. So yeah. Capel hits the invisible wall. Andy brakes way too late anyway, so that's horrible. And then I think Omoda hit. Oh no, yeah, Andy's waiting because he's like, I know I fucked up there. My bad. So let's watch that one more time. What? Okay, let's watch it from Krilla's point of view. I love it when you stumble upon an incident. Yeah, invisible wall, and then Andy just plows through, and then Krilla manages to come out ahead despite all that, as the only one who didn't clatter anything. And now Capel and Andy, are they going to get caught by Omoda? He is quite far back, so maybe not, but they'll have both ruined their tyres a little bit there. As you can tell by how Andy has taken that corner. So, chaos near the back. The dude's absolutely fallen away in P13 now, so he's not having nearly as good a time in the feature as he had in the sprint. Actually, both BMWs on the floor. But it's all going really well for Bomber. He's got quite a comfortable lead. And I've got to say, I'm very surprised that there is AMG 2020 in the lead of the race after 19 laps, and none of the faster cars have managed to catch up to him. I mean, Slimmy obviously in the SLS is an incredibly rapid car around here, but still, and he's got a second penalty, so he's going to lose P2, he's probably going to lose P3 as well. Maybe P4, let's stick with Simon, because he's going to have a Slimmy appear pretty soon. There's the penalty line that we're just about to cross now. Slimmy's lost a lot of time. He might just save it into turn 1 ahead of Simon. But again, that puts another car that has no beans in the top. Well, the whole top 3 don't have any beans now. So this is a superhuman performance from the top 3, I've got to say. So let's stick. Slimmy can get those positions back though, but this is all again great news for Bomber, who will be extending his lead again. He's just set his fastest lap, which was a 46 flat, so 4/10 off of what Slimmy's best time was. Joe's best lap was a 45.7, so getting into the 45 is an advantage. He did have slipstream to help him though, and Bomber didn't, so that's probably where those 3/10s come from. Bomber's last lap a 46.2, and Slimmy's with his penalty a 47.7. And Simon's in the 45s as well, so he's definitely on a charge here, Simon. And both of these two should be able to catch the two in front at least in the last 4 minutes and 10 seconds before we're on to our final lap. Yes, Slimmy going to get a good exit here. It looked really smooth. He might have a run now on Turbo Boy. He won't be benefiting too much from that slipstream because Joe's quite a bit ahead at the moment. Yeah, look, he's closing in pretty quickly now. This is where the SLS starts to reward you for choosing it. But not enough into turn 1. So Slimmy's going to have to be patient for another lap, but also stay on the gearbox of Turbo if he wants to get that podium. Really cutting that corner there. You don't need to take that much curb that you're taking the grass. Turbo Boy goes wide. Slimmy's gonna, oh, and he loses traction, and this is gonna open the door for Slimmy. Let's see, Slimmy's got it, and he gets it on the infield section as well. So this is perfect for Slimmy. Now he's gonna be able to, ooh, Turbo Boy's a bit laggy there. That's unusual for Turbo Boy. Now Slimmy's got Joe in his sights. Turbo Boy might have to start looking over his shoulder in a second for Simon, but Simon's a little bit behind him. He went a bit wide on the entry there as well, though. Interesting flag order here. One Irishman in first, and then everyone else in the top 8 is British. Yeah, Turbo Boy's already losing pace to Slimmy. Oh, Slimmy hits the wall! No, what happened? Right, we have to ride on board with him. What happened here? He hits the wall and yeah, he just ruins it. Just ruins it for himself. Now Deck Paint's gonna go around and he gets P5. Now who's behind? He's got lots of damage onto his rear as well, so that's going to impact his top speed, so he's not going to be driving away from Filthy right now. Yeah, Filthy's going to get before turn 1, I reckon. Absolute nightmare for Slimmy. Looks like Gilles is battling a little bit further with Deck Paint as well. So Slimmy has got his damage dealt with, and he's at P7 now. Obviously, if he had damage completely turned fully on, he'd have had to pit there to fix it. So Deck Paint is all of a sudden in the top 5. Simon's in the top 4. Turbo Boy's looking a bit more comfortable in his podium position, but Simon is a lot closer than he has been previously, as we see the sun start to rise now. And it's all, once again, looking really comfortable for Bomber, who hasn't had to do much apart from look after his pace. Since the pit sequence, as he decided to pit much earlier than everyone else on lap 9. Really wide exit from Turbo Boy. It looks like he's pulling on Simon here. So this could end up being the last lap, I'm not entirely sure. It's going to be really tight to see if anyone gets into the final lap. I'd be surprised in Tier 2 these guys should be getting into the final lap, most of them. But there's been a lot of fighting. Could potentially be the last opportunity for a podium. So let's join with Bomber just in case. We've got 20 seconds left. It's going to be tight. I think Bomber is going to have the win here, but he's going to have to do it for one more lap. It looks like he's completely on empty though. So he didn't plan for a final lap. He does have to do it. What about Joe? Oh, it's going to be tight. It's a final lap for Joe, Turbo Boy and Simon, and it looks like Joe didn't have enough fuel either. Turbo Boy maybe, Simon definitely did. Deck Paint P5 and Shield P6. Filthy ended up P7, Slimmy all the way down in P8 after challenging so much. Krilla P9, and then we're going to have Capale in 10th, Andy Winters in 11th, so outside the top 10 for Andy. Omoda in P12, all on his own. after he was leading for a little bit but went onto the grass a few too many times. Skinsey down in P13, not a good day for the BMWs. He was P2 last week and now he's P13, and then the dude in P14, and then we had Denz retire as well. So Bomber is completely out of fuel, but so this is just like a victory lap for him really. He's very lucky. If Bomber and Joe, well, if Joe and Tailboy and Simon had started the final lap, and it was just, they just had a couple more seconds in their pace today, Simon and Tailboy would have been in the top two, definitely. They had the most fuel. Simon had more fuel, so maybe he would have got Tailboy right on the line. I'm not sure. It's difficult to tell right now. But yeah, Bomber's going just as slow as the rest of them. So there's no point watching his final lap, but it does mean that Gilles is our championship leader still. He's retained the lead. He's got a nice, solid lead, but he's got a lot of drivers on his tail. He's going to go to the wire in Tier 2, definitely. No one is breaking out as the sole star performer in this tier. Lots of very closely paced drivers, which is great to see in these car combinations. So yeah, you can join me next week when I'll have another race to review. Next week we're at Suzuka, which is our returning track from last season. So yeah, join me then. Thanks for watching.